Hey everyone, this is Teresa Hegel, Executive Editor of Special Projects and Sustainability at ASI.
And this is Cassie Green, Content Director of Apparelist and Editor at Printing United Alliance. And you're listening to Branding Together, a new adventure into the converging worlds of print and promo.
We're here to bring you an engaging monthly discussion that dissects just how closely each of these industries align. Whether you're a promotional products distributor, commercial printer, apparel decorator, or a little bit of everything, our topics and guests will bring the ultimate crossover conversation.
When you're ready to bring your business to the next level, get lost in this month's episode, which is set to happen in 3, 2, 1.
Everybody, we are here for a very special episode of Branding Together, the co-podcast that we do with ASI and Printing United Alliance. So for those who don't know me, my name is Cassie Green. I am an editor at Printing United Alliance.
And I'm Teresa Hegel, the Executive Editor for Special Projects and Sustainability at ASI.
Yeah, it is a mouthful, but that's okay. So we're actually here in beautiful Arizona, joining Josh Ellsworth of Saul. We're here for a pretty cool event, y'all. Josh, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. This is our inaugural Print on Demand conference presented by Stahl's Fulfill Engine. We're excited to host a small group and conference to have a great conversation around what we think is the future of branding, and that's print-on-demand technology.
So why was this year the right time to start this event?
Well, we're seeing, and as you guys have reported, really is a shift from bulk to smaller quantities. And so screen printers and apparel decorators in general are being pressured to be able to accommodate smaller quantities and to do it well. Couple that with the growth of e-commerce and the growth of advertising to really an audience of one. And it's the perfect intersection, both from a seller point of view and from a decorator point of view, to have everybody in the same room and having a conversation on how we can make better. And that's making only what you need exactly when you need it.
Do you feel like that really touches both the apparel decoration space, the printing space, and the promo space? Because a lot of what Teresa and I talk about is there's a lot of conversions. So what imagine you guys see that with the print-on-demand technology in that market?
A ton. Actually, we were very intentional about the groups at this event. We call it the value chain, all the way from selling to really receiving of the good by the consumer. And along that value chain is not only the promo distributor or e-commerce company, the brand, the seller. They're usually in that chain is a contract decorator. Often it's looking to fulfill it, or some decorator. And then you have other companies that enable those sales, like platforms and bring the blank apparel suppliers and the blank apparel. I say apparel could be any good. It could be drinkware brand into the equation. All of those stakeholders in the value chain need to be communicating. And so we can have the best possible experience to drive more product sales for the consumer.
Right. And going back to what you said before about printing only what you need, I guess when you need it, that's kind of an element of sustainability too. So like how do you see print on demand kind of sustainability requirement?
Yeah, so our lead-off session tomorrow is called Innovations in Print for Planet and Profit. And so our goal is print on demand doesn't need to be viewed at this commoditized product world that it's kind of become with the direct garment technology and sublimation technology. Nothing's bad about those technologies. It's just it's very saturated. And so being able to think about other decoration techniques, whether that's applique or direct embroidery or 3D printing, and being able to brand products that I always say willingness to wear and willingness to wear out. And so extending that shelf life, which increases brand impressions, which prevents apparel from ending up in the landfill or the brand fill, I think is the coin term in the industry. Like that's a big deal. And just the model of like not bulk producing with the hopes that it sells. And being able to really produce. If you need 44 and those are spoken for, we make exactly what we need. We make 44. So it doesn't have to be quantity of one, but it does mean making sure that the product's going to be utilized and needed before we just run production.
So I think it's interesting, the phrase you use, willingness to wear, because not only does that translate to the sustainability discussion that we're all having in the industry, but also that customization aspect, that personalization that we're seeing extending into all of the products that everybody looking
Yeah.
for. That's what the consumer asking for, right?
And the quality of the design too, right? It's not just the logos.
Yeah. That's important, right? Because if you can make it your own, you're, like there's an element of choice in that, and you're likely to either use that product, wear that product, whatever it may be, whether it's a hard good or a soft good. And so I think that's super important. So just printing something, distributing it, the employee or whoever the client is may never put that product on. But if you can offer some choice in it, some personalization, it's more likely to be utilized. About that.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, so this specific conference, when you guys were sort of in like the really, this first came to be started saying, hey, this could be a really great idea. What were some of the goals, ideas and things that you need to accomplish?
Yeah, so we firmly believe as a company that collaboration compounds value, right? We think there's going to be consolidation in the space, but it doesn't just have to be a path of consolidation for everybody. And so our goal was to connect all the right people, and so that they can build meaningful partnerships. A lot of companies will look across the room and the old view is, hey, that's my competitor. And I think what we've all learned coming out of one of the worst periods of COVID is that collaboration is really critical for success. And I think one of our attendees, Maddie Alcala from Google, recently did a blog post, and she said 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. When you're collaborating, 1 + 1 equals 3. And so you get more measurable value when you're joining two brands, two stakeholders together. And so we wanted to really just host and facilitate.
That's music for our ears, right? Branding together.
Yeah.
Separately.
Yeah, that's the name of this, right? Yeah. So there it is. But I firmly believe in that. We've seen it work time and time again. And just being more open and collaborative helps to really compound that value.
What is the challenge still? What is kind of holding people back from really embracing?
I'd say a few things. There's the general notion that one, and I think we're dismissing it, is that it's just this commodity-based product. And then really, if you kind of go level deeper on that, it's I can't make money or it's too expensive. And so we talk about, yes, it being better for the planet, that's important, but we need to be able to prove to companies that are in business to earn money that it can be more profitable. And so a lot of those conversations are, you can actually charge more if you can create these consumer experiences where there is personalization and where we're elevating fruit finishes beyond basic. And so that's definitely a holdback as people are like, it costs me more. And then two, we have an industry, at least from the decorator side, that's heavily entrenched in their bulk processes.
Right, yeah.
And so whether that's shop management technology that's managing bulk processes, or whether that's just equipment and space and capital investment that's already committed to bulk processes, a lot of times it's tough for decorators to kind of get out of just feeding the overhead and trying to keep it running to break even, and then breaking out and saying, hey, I can have that bulk business. It's not going anywhere. Maybe it's shrinking and the runs are getting smaller, but it's still important. But I can place this alongside of it to unlock new areas of revenue. We really want people to see print on demand as completely different new revenue, not just taking the bulk and moving it over.
I think that's actually a really important point to focus on, especially in an industry that tends to get caught up in the race to the bottom. Because you have to shift that mindset to say, this is a real revenue generator. And I think it's refocusing the thought process, getting people to change the way they approach a business operation.
It is. And I always say price pressure, because the race to the bottom is really giving into price pressure.
Yeah.
And price pressure is an absence of value created. And so if you're finding yourself having price pressure a lot, you really need to step back and I think start with defining who your target market is, who is your audience, and how am I creating value. And that's usually through solving a pain point or creating like a delight point for the actual person that I'm serving. If you can craft value around those two things, you can charge higher prices, like you can get out of the race to the bottom.
I love the idea of delight points because we talk about pain points all the time.
Right.
Delight point, that's like
We should change. We should stop saying pain points and say, how do we create delight?
Delight, yeah.
Brilliant.
It's dreams and nightmares. We like to focus on the nightmares. Let's focus on the dreams, right?
Exactly. No. So this being the inaugural Print on Demand conference, looking ahead,
Sure.
how does this set up for a future of furthering education and just making sure we're reaching the industry with the right kind of conversations?
Yeah. So, I mean, convergence, it's something that you guys have been all about, and it's true, is that like you have people that just participate in this POD space, like they're the traditional print-on-demand e-commerce companies, and then you have promo, and you have decorator, right? And so I think what's interesting about this is everybody will get an opportunity to hear a perspective from each of those stakeholders. So we could throw team sports or sporting good dealers into that too. There's all these markets that kind of have their own world, and they need their own specialist content. But when we're talking about not just a way to make, but really a way to structure your business model, I think that can be applied to any vertical. So we're hopeful that we can, we have some great speakers. Actually, Stalls is presenting very little content at this. We've just signed up people on topics that we think are important to the conversation. And so I think bringing in some of that outside expertise and have them share is going to be critical, and that's going to be our springboard to do that with you all in a big way.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the more all of these different players are actually talking to each other and we'll actually say language.
Yeah, so we're live here.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, like something that I'm running into as we're, working more with Printing United Alliance is that, we call the same things by a different name or different things by the same name. So a lot of it is just trying to figure out like, what do you need when you say printer, or when you say decorator or supplier or a distributor? There's a lot of different terms that mean different things to different people. So the more we can get everyone in the same room, I think that's really create, with better.
I agree. I do think we all speak a little bit different language, but there's a similar sentiment behind all of it. So, having that, facilitating that conversation. Like we've seen a shift, like, I don't know about you, like there's more conferences now than there were 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that's because that's what our industry needs. Yes, we have to have the large shows where people get to go and have that experience, and there's certain values in that. But having a conference where, like, here we have 150 attendees and some events you put on smaller audience, it's a great time where you can actually get to know everybody in the room and have a good conversation.
And I kind of like, with a lot of these smaller events, having different focuses, right? And that's what is really interesting about this one. You can't just sit down and learn about the smaller keywords. We're just talking about, for your business. It's a targeted way to educate. I think something the industry is certainly need out right now.
Thanks for that validation. We'll see how it goes. I hope here. I guess most people will be watching this after it's been completed. I will say we already kind of saved the date for next year. So it will continue no matter what. We will refine. We think it's an important topic to the industry.
Oh, for sure. Well, awesome, Josh. We're really excited that we got to sit down with you and chat a little bit more about this really important topic, but future opportunities in the store.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed the conversation as well.
Thank you.